Traveling to an unfamiliar country makes people feel surprised but most importantly scared. As I am a Chinese and I still can't forget the feeling when I first came to Australia. Feelings of helplessness, homesick, caused by different language and culture is a big challenge. Today we are introducing a lady teaching ESL in Australia. Talk about her story of traveling to China many times, how she overcome the difficulties between language and culture, and help international students conquer the gap.
When I go to China, I think I feel a bit like what an international student feels like when they come to Australia, because I actually feel a bit invisible. Because I don't speak the language, people look past you, I'm helpless, I can't communicate properly, and it's a strange feeling. It doesn't actually make me feel uncomfortable, it makes me feel very free, because I feel like I can be whatever I want and no one knows me any other way. When I go to China, often the students, when we have a talk, they'll say, "So what do you miss about home?" And I say, I miss seeing different people in the street, different colours, faces, different, going out and seeing, Afghan restaurant here and a Middle Eastern restaurant there and a Chinese restaurant there and a Vietnamese restaurant there. I love the variety.
And this house is a mess, but I've been getting used to it. It's a place in town that never feels empty. 'Cause I'm not done healing, but I've been trying so hard.
We did visit some schools, and the schools were a big eye-opener for me, because we walked into one class and I think I counted about 65 students. I'd never seen class sizes that big in my life, and the teachers stood at the front and the students had tiny little desks, and they, did exactly what they were told, but at the back there were some students asleep and the teacher ignored them, and I was amazed. Travelling makes you more open-minded, and I think that's important in today's world.
Should go back home.
After my first trip to China, and that was when I started being involved with international students, I think about the struggles they've had, not just educational struggles, but the personal struggles, because I know they feel homesick, and I know they miss their friends, and I know they don't always like the country, and I know they experience racism, I know they experience a lot of really negative things, and I think in their own ways they're all incredibly tough. The thing that impressed me the most was the way they relate to teachers. First of all, I think international students are generally more respectful of teachers because they haven't grown up with the culture of seeing teachers like equals.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you, Porta.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
Bye, James.
See you.
Traveling to China, Jen not only saw the difference on Chinese culture, that students do not have the conscience of everyone is equal, but also deeply realized the real feeling of international students in a strange country. However, these feelings are not all from her travel, but most importantly from an immigrant family she lived in.
My father was a migrant from Europe, so he came out in 1939. He fled Hitler during the Holocaust, and he came to Australia and he couldn't speak any English at all, and I think that's another reason why I feel a connection with EAL students, because my father married an Australian woman. I don't know how they managed to date because he couldn't speak much English. We used to make fun of him as children. As I got older, I realised how heartless we were, how little compassion we had for the struggle that he had. So, he had to build up a business by himself. He didn't know anybody here, and I'm now very proud of what he did, but at the time we were ashamed of him because he couldn't speak English. Do you know, my bag gets so heavy sometimes. So I used to throw the bag in, and I've actually broken. So now I have to be very careful. And I hope I have my first night this week getting to sleep before midnight. Okay.
I do remember the day we spent with her in school. We saw her tears, For the first time, we saw her emotions so strong, and at that moment, I can feel we were a family. No difference between us, even we have different nationalities and culture.
I had another student who was a really poor student. At Easter this year, I was walking down the street and I saw this familiar face in front of me, and I said, "Oh, hi, how are you going? What are you doing now?" "Oh, I'm doing in my last year of my Masters." And I thought, that's a remarkable story about a student who could hardly speak English when he came here, and now he's doing a Master's degree. Lovely, polite young man, very comfortable communicating in English. So I feel proud of them because I think what they do is amazing. I think when they leave their home when they're teenagers and come to a foreign country, when they're probably terrified of change, missing their homes and can't even speak the language, and they succeed and then they go on to university courses, I think that's amazing.
As Jen's story, traveling and the experience of her family opened a door for her to learning different culture in strange country. Also, she using this experience help international students, just like me, overcome personal struggles, also on their studying. Thanks for your listening. This is 360 Documentary. See you next time.